Guys, and welcome to your March 2021 reading. We are going to be taking a look at how you and your love interests are feeling for this month. We are entering Pisces season, so I do want to go over just a couple different little notes so you are aware and that you can use the most benefit of the energy of Pisces this month. I am going to use several decks while we go look into love. We're going to really dive in because Pisces season is overall a very sentimental and very compassionate type of energy for the month. We're really able to look beyond kind of some of those surface situations, and some of those dreamy vibes, even for the most cynical person, can really start to come out, and you can just kind of get an opportunity to really enter into that world and explore some of your emotions and kind of get your senses going into all of that. I really want to point out that your intuition and your ability to tap into that and experience those serendipities and those coincidences are going to be kind of striking this month. I mean, you're really going to stand out, and you're going to have an opportunity to either acknowledge them and realize that this is really something, or you can ignore them. I would definitely recommend doing some periodic reality checks. That would be wise, especially if it includes money or wellness or love or any of those things. Just make sure you're kind of coming from a very practical standpoint. Keeping your third eye chakra is going to be very important, because it does involve communication and creativity. Well, not as much communication, but it does involve a clear connection, almost on an intuitive and spiritual level. So you want to keep that flowing, and it's really it does have more to do with that intuitive type of sense. So if you feel like you need to get that open, if you feel like you have a blockage there, we can definitely look into that, so you can reach out and ask me about that. Lots of water this month, you guys. I can't even stress that enough. It is, for whatever reason, it just definitely stands out this month to try to keep that flow, going. You definitely want to keep your channels open and keep your body in the best health possible. And definitely sit down with a notebook if you start noticing you guys have dreams, or these repetitive types of situations, or things are just kind of, you try to put the puzzle pieces together. Start writing the puzzle pieces down so that you can really do that at some point that you feel comfortable. At this point, just let it go. If you got some grudges you're holding on to, some things that you just kind of governs how you feel and how you're doing things and how you're applying your energy, really take a moment and reflect on that, identify it, and just get it out the door. It's really the perfect time to release that. Pisces season and energy can certainly illuminate some of those things, and you really don't want to fall victim to that mentality, as opposed to just kind of rising above that and dealing with the change that needs to take place. Other than that, allow yourself to romanticize, let go, and just allow this. It can be intense, the Pisces season, so you might as well make the most of it in a romantic way, to where you not only can kind of have this glamour shine to those around you, and the person that you do have a love interest in, they can kind of see that a little bit softer side of you, that you kind of open up your heart space and open up that ability to communicate and get on that same page. If that's the other person that needs to be doing that, you can expect a little bit more of that coming from them. Overall, it's going to be much better to come out of that shell and to not be, hard-nosed to it, or criticizing yourself or the possibilities and the potential of the relationship. Okay, so just keep the vibes high and allow yourself to just kind of deepen that connection with the person that you're interested in. Okay, so we have a couple things that we're going to look at this month. How they feel about you, kind of understanding where some of those blockages are, why you might be feeling the way that you've been feeling. We're going to dive into some strategies that can help and kind of identify what's out of balance, and get you the most information that you can possibly use to get your relationship and love life in the exact position that you'd like it to be. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see how things are looking for you. Hey Virgos, all right, let's take a look and see how your partner is feeling about you for March 2021, and see if we can get an understanding of, or get you some clarity on how that other side is doing, what their intentions are, kind of overall how they're feeling about you. March 2021. Remember, it goes Ace of Swords, wanting to talk, wanting to come on the same page with things. Then in reverse, however, they may not be sure where you really stand with things. Perhaps they're not sure if you're satisfied with things, or maybe they're not quite satisfied with something that needs to be discussed. 3 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. So it's also possible that you guys have maybe at one point started to build for something, and then, you know, there was a lot of teamwork, but then there was the strengths and the weaknesses, and some of those weaknesses just didn't, you know, didn't override the strengths didn't override the weaknesses. There were just too many of those. It created a problem, and now it's maybe coming back around in a new person or the same person, and your fears for that are kind of coming back out. And so I do get the sense that they're picking up on that, and that's something that does need to be, you know, there needs to be an understanding on what that is. If this is a new relationship, or and you're trying to see where things are going, I feel like they want to pursue, but maybe there's something going on when it comes to the pursuit that they're not too sure on how you feel with things. Maybe you haven't been completely communicative about your feelings on that, and it's or maybe there was some kind of a conflict going on that's kind of made you step back a little bit to kind of review what it is you really want. And to them, that is kind of concerning. That is on their mind. They are wondering, what is it that you're going to pursue? Are we going to build for the future? Are we going to plan for this? Is this something that you really want to do? Are we going bigger and better here, or what is the deal? And I do get the impression that they are wanting to have this success, but they do sense that a type of dissatisfaction from you is what I'm seeing. Okay. Now, as far as what part of all of this are you addressing here? Or what do you need to address when it comes to that situation? Appreciate this moment. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and find love. Like attracts like. If you long for more love, be more loving. So for some of you, I think this is just kind of one of those things where fear's taking over. You've got, you know, you're not really 100% sure what you want, where you're going with things, but these cards are indicating whoever this is, it's obviously someone important. You're learning a lesson. You're, you know, writing out a story, whatever this journey is taking you at this point. It is something that's worth paying attention to. You've obviously been wanting something to come forward when it comes to love. So here, something's here, but yet you're kind of not 100% like, you know, committed to the situation. So Spirit's saying, commit to this, give it a chance, see where it goes. Even if it's not forever, at least you're going to gain something from it. So I would take that seriously. That is something to address. If you've been wondering about that, I would say that's a pretty clear answer for you. Anything else that you need to know about that? Do something for someone, give your attention and to another, and then relationship patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. So this still applies to this group when it comes to, you know, giving this a chance. There is another group of you though, however, very different situation, where this is saying that you are meant to give your attention to somebody else. And so that's a very different group of you, obviously. But you're not in a good position. That group of you, whoever that is, you're in a position where you know that you could do better. You know you might have settled, and you know that where you're at is not where you're happy, and that it's saying, you know, now's the time to take this energy and move on. Not only that, but it's saying, you know, yes, it takes a lot of strength to change their relationship patterns, even if they're bad patterns, even if you love this person, but their behaviors are just not okay. It's not something conducive to your children or to your future or to where you're trying to go or what is right and wrong or whatever it is. This is where you have to make that change for yourself, and it's not easy, but this is that time, a good time for you, you know, to address the situation. During Mercury retrograde, old things will flood back in, so you can address them, you can think about them, you can understand why you need to make certain decisions and why you need to take certain actions. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now when it comes to where things, well, I just want to clarify on that one more time. And these cards I just went over also talk about, why you've been feeling the way that you've been feeling. Just kind of probably all up in your head, trying to you're thinking a little bit deeper, a little bit more on those emotional levels. And, that's something that might be a little uncomfortable for you, but it is, the time to make some of those bigger decisions for sure, okay? Rites of passage. So this goes on both sides. For those of you who have somebody waiting for an understanding from you, they do deserve that. And for those of you who are not in a good position right now in your relationships, you deserve to be heard, to say what you need to say, to speak your truth, to do what you need to do. And that's the part that you are taking care of. You're renewing what could be very positive for yourself and for the relationship, but it does take shifts sometimes. That is true. So where might things be a little unbalanced that we need to be looking at? Gratitude. You fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. So for those of you who are in a situation where you're in the relationship, things are going forward, but maybe you're just a little bit hesitant, I'd say this is one of those times, especially with these cards, where you need to be grateful for what you have, go ride it out, see where it goes, and it will naturally take its course, right? For those of you who are in those other situations where they're not 100%, great, I would say that you're in a very good position of realizing what you want. You're grateful for what you have. You're grateful for the things that you guys have learned, for the connection that was there. But now you are in a very clear position and understanding of what you want now. And where the other person might not be so much, and that might be a little difficult, but nonetheless, that's all that you needed. You may or may not get cooperation with that particular situation, depending on kind of their level of understanding and maturity. Some strategies, that you can use to help that imbalance. Be kind. Be the humanitarian that you are. Share your points of views. If you need to get support and assistance from others to help the situation, certainly do so, because that will help, truly. And then just be ready. You're ready to release that control of the situation, kind of give the energy to the universe and kind of ride with it and just kind of go with that rhythm and that flow. You are more of an empathic person, I would imagine, more than maybe this person that you're dealing with, for those of you in that group. And so you might understand things where others might not, and that's okay, and that it doesn't have to be understood. As long as the people who support you are there for you for the right reasons, whether perspectives and viewpoints are 100% understood, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't even need to be, that doesn't have to be that way. So I hope that helps give you some clarity on where things are headed. That was kind of a lot just because there was more than one group that came out. That doesn't always happen. But if you want to look at your private situation and see where that's going, all the information on how to book a reading is down below. So feel free to reach out. And otherwise, I will see you guys in April. Much love. Have a great month. See you guys later.